Thank you so much, George. Let's head on up to Davenport quickly, where Ron's got a question about his 2005 Silverado in the summertime. Go ahead, Ron.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good.
My question is, you've all talked about the 20 weight and not to use it and to go to the 30 weight. My way of thinking is in the heat of the summer of Florida, why wouldn't you bump it up to 40 weight?
Well, I don't really have a problem with that, Ron. And then this and I'm going to tell you why. It would be if it was a higher mileage engine that I already anticipated probably had some internal wear and some excessive clearances because of high mileage. I don't see any reason then you couldn't go with a 40. But see, this is where you run into an issue. So many newer engines, you don't want to run a real heavy oil. See, the higher the number, the higher the second number of that oil, the thicker it is. The more, and that's referred to as viscosity. That's the thickness or the film of the oil strength. Now, if you're running a 30 weight, usually everything is fine and dandy. Now, in your case, I don't think it would hurt anything. But on a lot of these vehicles nowadays that use the variable cam timing systems and some of the cylinder deactivation systems, and they have to exhaust this oil through these check valves and stuff, you can't run too thick of an oil or you can have drivability problems. It's like this. If you're using whoever's oil, I would strongly suggest you do what you're talking about, go to a 40 weight. But if you're using AMSOIL, you really don't have to worry too much about that because, see, heat doesn't have a whole lot of effect on AMSOIL. AMSOIL is going to stay stable all the way up to excess of 450 degrees, which if you get much more than that, you better be putting a fire out. Other oils cannot withstand those types of temperatures. You get most oils over 225 degrees, and all the additive package in them is gone. They start to sludge. The oil just literally starts to fall apart, and there's no way your engine's going to send you a notice in the mail saying, I'm dying down here. But the AMSOIL is made to stay with that second number. That advertised 30 weight, well, that is at normal operating temps. Most of your oils that you use, let's say if you're using a petroleum or a semi-synthetic or a wannabe synthetic, you put one of those 40 weights in a vehicle, well, by the time it gets up to normal operating temperature, you're barely using a 30 weight. Whereas if you're using the AMSOIL, it's going to stay that advertised viscosity no matter what, unless you exceed 450 degrees. So that's why AMSOIL warranties the engine against any lubrication failure as long as you're putting oil in sound equipment. If you pour it into an engine that's got a rod hanging out of the oil pan, they're not going to do anything for you. But if you're putting it in good sound equipment and it's a lubrication failure, then AMSOIL will warranty the engine. That's why they warranty the engine, is because they know their oil is that stable. But me, I'm not a thin oil kind of guy. It might help to seep into a bicycle chain, but that's not what I'm worried about lubricating when I pour oil into an engine of mine or one of my customers. I want enough viscosity there to where in the dead heat of summer, I know that temperature is not going to affect that oil, and it's going to be able to withstand anything they throw at it. Have you ever heard of these people putting these catch cans on these engines?
Oh, yeah.
You know why they do that, right? It's because the oil they're using is so thin, it's coming right out of the crankcase. And they're collecting it in a catch can. I'm like, am I the only one that actually sees what's going on here? And it's all because they're trying to run these stupid 20-weight oils in these engines. And that's why Hyundai and Kia's got them lined up around the dealerships waiting on engines. They've got consumers out there driving around in rental cars for 6 months trying to get an engine put in their car. It's all because of 20-weight oil. And the thing is, if you start looking at the viscosities on these newer cars that they're selling, they've got 30-weight viscosities recommended. Boy, did they have a change of heart, huh? Thanks for your call, Ron.